Hello, it is I, Ramses the 800th, and today we're going to be talking about another fan servant idea, Dehya, the amazing warrior princess, or warrior queen, I should say. This is actually a recommendation from a viewer, uh, Dark Prince 6953. He says, amazing work, or she, I don't know. They said, amazing work. How about Dehya next? She was an amassing, okay. She was an amassing warlord priestess that fought against the Muslim conquest. Thank you so much for your recommendation. And after doing a little bit of searching, uh, this is actually a pretty interesting character, or at least person in history. Also, if you want to do a little bit more reading on Dehya, either like her stories or just some other articles, I put some of them in the description below. I also put a video down there on covering her overall story, which actually has pronunciations a lot better than mine. So go check those out if you're a little interested in reading a little bit more and having a little bit more structure instead of me just, rambling. So, who is Dehya? Um, in truth, we don't know. Uh, she was around during the 600s around that time. But the main problem is we don't know anything about her before she was like a leader. So anything from before she ruled, we have no knowledge of. We have some inklings, like the fact that she had like 2, 3 kids, but one of them was adopted. And she took them in. All of her children were sons, but aside from that, we don't know like anything about her past. So who is Deha? Deha, uh, otherwise known as Al Kahina by the Arabic speaking people. Al Kahina basically means the priestess or the priestess soothsayer, which is a very cool name. Um, she was a Baber slash Amasing like ruler. Baber is like a term for it for what she was, but amassing was what they called. Amassing is a very like I like when I first saw the comment, I was like, amazing? Oh, she's an amazing warlord. No, no, no. Amassing, that's what her people called themselves. There's a video that taught me how to pronounce it. It's I'm saying it right. Amassing. I'm a little congested right now, but she was a warrior queen who during the conquest she fought against the Muslim slash Arabic conquest of the Maghreb region, which is basically like this area of the map. And during her reign, after the previous ruler died, she took over and she united all the amassing people and basically fought back against the conquest of Arabic people. And she fought them all off. And then she gained control of the Maghreb region. She controlled all of this as a warrior queen. Um, And this fight, I think it's called the Fight of the Camels, from what some of the sources that I've read. Uh, Basically, she fought against this guy. It's his name is Hassan. This I don't know how to pronounce the other one, so I'm just gonna put it on screen. But she beat him decisively. It was basically a slaughter on his half. Like he got destroyed, but he retreated to another region, and her anticipating him coming back, she got kind of she jumped the gun a little bit and decided to develop a scorched earth approach to her next battle. So she destroyed a bunch of villages and a bunch of like resources in the path that he would have in the path that Hassan had to take in order to get back to her. Unfortunately, this caused a little bit of conflict with some of the Beber tribes or the Amassing tribes, resulting in some of them pulling away from their support, which resulted in her when Hassan came back being defeated. And her death is also very confusing because it doesn't seem that there's a lot of people agreeing on how she died. There's, from what I've read, about 3 interpretations of how she died. She either died on the battlefield, she died in a well. Well, it's technically 4. She died on the battlefield, she died in a well, she took poison to prevent herself from dying, or her son betrayed her, which is weird. Her adoptive son, the one I was talking about before, betrayed her. What we do know is that after she died, her head was chopped off and paraded around as like we beat her, right? So after all of this, all that stuff, Al Kahina, aka Dehya, became kind of a icon for the Beber people and the amassing people. And she's kind of like Boudica in that sense, where a lot of Europeans, I say Europeans, a lot of British people use Boudica as like a feminist icon, as like a showing of their uh strength in their women and things like that. That's kind of what Dehya has become as well. There's a bunch of statues of her. You probably saw it in the thumbnail. That's the statue of her, and there's a bunch of artistic representations of her. But one interesting thing is there's so much we don't know, and that makes it perfect for putting her into Fate. Because when there's like confusion about what a person is, you can always throw them into Fate and then fill in those gaps. So a little bit more on like her. It was also really debated on what she believed, whether she was Jewish, whether she was what the Amasing or Berber people believed in. Some people say she's Jewish. Some people say she's Jewish. Some people say she was amazing. She worshipped the Amasing deities and gods or whatever they believed in. Me personally, I think it'd be a little bit more interesting if she believed in what the Amasing did. But I don't know if we have that many Jewish servants. Servants. I'm congested. I don't know if we have that many Jewish servants in FGO or Fate in general. So just in case, that'd be really cool, right? So I know that was kind of rushed, but we don't know anything really. All we know is that she fought in some battles. She ruled for about from like 668 to about 703, so like a good long while. But apart from that, we know nothing. We know she had kids, you know. There has been some rumors spread around from the Arabic people that she fought, calling her a witch. That's why they called her Al Kahina. It's the priestess soothsayer. There was rumors that she could see the future, that she had like magic and all this stuff. Again, prime subjects for somebody to be put into Fate. So, what are we doing here? What would Al Kahina, aka Dehya, aka the priestess soothsayer, be like in Fate? There's two classes that we can obviously put her into. We can either put her into a caster, or we can put her into a ruler. Me personally, I think a ruler is a more apt version of her, because in the sense of magecraft, we don't know anything, right? She could have had future sight, but her main thing isn't the fact that she was magical. The main thing is the fact that she was a warrior. She was on the field of battle, fighting with her people, and, you know, putting hands. So, my idea is this. I believe we should make her a 3-star ruler, which we don't have in Fate right now in FGO. And for skills, I think we can just make her a generic buffer goodness, where it's just, she gets an attack, like a 20% attack buff, something with crit, and then like a 20% NP charge. I think that's a pretty good, like, kit. It's nothing too crazy. It's good if you have like early account, or if you want to try something funny. But like there's no special modifiers. I don't imagine her having anything like that. If you want to make her kit a little bit more interesting, you could have like the whole demerit and increase aspect, because with the scorched earth thing, you can also make that her MP, where she's kind of running around scorching earth, right, debuffing your opponent, maybe doing a little bit of damage and also buffing you, right? You could have something like that. But for her kit, you could also have it reflected in that as well. So say like you give a 30% buff to the attack, you also give a demerit of like 10% debuff down, 10% defense down, something like that, if you just want to make her kit a little bit more interesting. But for like a 3-star, you don't need to do too much. I don't imagine her being like a central figure in like a story in like FGO. She's probably more of like a servant that gets summoned if Ritsuka needs help. Like Ritsuka is in an event, he gets put into like a weird singularity, and he needs just like a little bit of help. He summons a servant, and it's Dehya, right? That's just like a very easy role she can fill. The little bit of magic, personality wise, I think having her being a little bit more stoic would be very interesting. But I always like having the servants I design have like really unique personalities. So one thing I imagine is Dehya being a very like calm faced person, but on the inside she's constantly worrying. So she's constantly going through all the worst possible outcomes in her head. So on the outside she doesn't really express it, but on the inside she's like screaming. So I think that'd be very Another way to make a 3-star servant stand out from the crowd. It's very easy for servants to be lost in the nonsense that is Fate or FGO, because of just how many ridiculous people are in Fate. So just having that tiny bit of remembrance of like, oh yeah, that's that character that acts like this, or that's that character that does that, is a good way to like have a servant stick in somebody's head. Now, for the way I always like making servants is imagining how they would react or interact with other servants, because I think that creates longevity in a servant if they have more interactions with other servants, right? And the prime example of who she can connect with is Boudica and Zenobia. Those three would be like glue. They would be best friends, right? Yes, they weren't like she wasn't affected by the Romans, but they had a very similar situation, especially with Boudica. Those two would be like that, right? They'd be best friends. Uh, Other people that she would be associated with, uh, I think it'd be really funny if she was associated with the witches of FGO. People like Kerke, aka Cersei, Medea, Lohi. Those three, I think it'd be really funny if she associated with them. And if she still wasn't like a mage, right? She could have future sight, or at least a very small version of it, but she didn't have like actual magic. I just think that'd be very interesting. And as for a design for her, I actually drew like a quite a few of them. I'm gonna put some of them on the screen right now. I'm actually really proud of how these came out because the Bear, aka the Amassing people, have these really beautiful like outfits. I don't know how to like describe. I don't know what they're called, but they're really beautiful. They have like these very vibrant colors. Um, they have all these patterns. They are just absolutely gorgeous. And I think putting her in one of those outfits is just great. I don't know what they had for as warriors. I actually did some searching and I found this sword. It's not like a famous sword. It's just like the standard sword that the Amassing, aka the Berbere people, used. So I just gave this to her because we know she was a warrior, and in some of the accounts she died with like obviously with weapons in her hands. So that is a pretty cool thing. I think in this illustration I gave it to her, even though you can't really see it. It's still right here. There's also already versions of her, like the statue I showed you before. There's this illustration of her, which is kind of also paraded around a lot. This is like a really good thing, right? I really like people like this, especially with how you know secretive or how little we know about them. Also, apparently, when they did like old timey autopsy, they said that Dehya was 127 years old when she died. So that's just another tick on the list of things that makes her magical. You can throw that in there. I think that'd just be a funny thing. I think I showed it in some of my designs by giving her wrinkles, and that's it. Because if she died on the battlefield, she's obviously spur enough to be able to fight. But that's Dehya, right? I really enjoyed looking at this because I always love random history facts, random people from history, especially for cultures that I have no idea about. Like the Beber, aka the Amazing people, a lot of them are from Morocco. Like a lot of the people who were, a lot of the Beber people are in Morocco. So if you're from Morocco, you probably know about this. But also, you're related to, you're probably related to Dehya, which is really cool. I always love that because for me, right, I didn't know too much about my own personal family history, aka like my ancestors and what they were and what happened then. It didn't take me until I started getting into Fate where I started actually trying to do some searches and I found things. And there's a lot of things that can happen for somebody who finds that stuff out, because it could help you connect to your people, it can help you connect to your past, it can help you connect to everybody. And being able to put that representation in a game or in a series that you enjoy is always fun, right? So for people who are from Morocco or people who still identify as Amassing or Beber, I don't know. Again, I'm using them interchangeably, even though I don't know if it's more correct to say one or the other. Um, I think it'd be really cool if you just throw a character like this into the game. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys think I should have made Dehya a caster? Do you think you like the fact that she's a ruler? Do you think that there's a way that we can make her kit a little bit more interesting? What do you think personality wise we should do for her? And yeah, next time on this little series of Fate fan serpents, I'm just gonna tell you who I'm gonna do because it's going to be my longest version of this. It's going to be El Cid. I'm doing El Cid, and I'm making 3 versions of El Cid because El Cid, it baffles me how he's not in the game yet. But that's it from me. I appreciate every single one of you for coming in, even for a minute and for a second, and I'd like to bid you all a farewell.